Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome to a new playthrough on the channel. As you've probably guessed, I am over at my parents' for Christmas, and there's currently a football game on TV, and they're both asleep. So, that sounds like a good time to come down here and play some MAG-23 Guadalcanal by Historic Wings. Once again, you've heard the spiel on this before. This is a game that throws you into the battle in the Pacific for Guadalcanal and during World War II. We are, of course, playing as an American squadron, the Cactus Air Force, a very ragtag group of pilots. I'm just going to double check my squadron, make sure I don't have any reinforcements coming in. It's the 3rd of September. I should not. And I do not. Okay. So we're all set there. But you're probably seeing in the description that I'm hoping for a very short stream on MAG-23 Guadalcanal. The reason I'm hoping for a short stream is because I'm coming into the first day of week 3 with a -3 runway, and I would really rather not try to fly that today. So we're going to hope that this is a short stream, but the only way we're going to find out if we're going to get a short stream or not is if I shut up and start flying, if I shut up with the intro and start into the actual game. The one thing I might be able to point out that you don't normally see in my normal layout is all the way over here that the modifier from last week has moved up to America Advancing. So we get those, so we don't have any rolls, but we are definitely working toward the American victory direction. But what say we jump into this? We'll start off by deciding if we're going to schedule a combat air patrol, and as usual, the answer to that is going to be no. So next we're going to roll for the weather. I'll put my notebook down there. So we're on the weather chart, which is probably not going to focus all the, there we go. It's focusing decently well there. Let's see what kind of weather we've got coming at us, hopefully without the book dropping. Problem is, when I'm trying to prop this, the thing I'm trying to prop this on is not the most stable thing in the world. Let's see, that's a 4, so we've got mud and dust, which is not impossible to fly, and I'd probably fly it. And I'd probably fly it if our runway wasn't looking like Swiss cheese today. So now the mission type that we've got coming at us we're on this mission type table here. And if you guys would like me to, when I get back home, if you guys would like me to try to set up some time to do a much slower teach and play game of MAG-23 Guadalcanal, I will be happy to do that. As I'm out here though, and I can't quite see that, that's a 4, which a 4 is going, it's going to be an air mission. Oh, great. I really don't want to fly this, but I like leaving Henderson Field defended even less. Now let's see what the Coast Watcher and Marine Scouts have to say. Let's see, for air, we've got Bougainville. New Georgia. Santa Isabel. Savo Island. And West Guadalcanal. And as usual, I'm going to grab my 5 dice, and it might be a little bit harder to see because I've got my travel tray with me. I've got my travel tower. It's actually off shot. Let me move the camera over a little bit so you can see a little bit of the mess I've got going on here. I've got my travel tower just off shot, but as usual, I'm going to read the reports. I'm going to read the dice from closest to me and then left to right further back. All right, a 4 on Bougainville gives me no report. Then we've got a 6 on New Georgia, which is giving me a +2 report. Santa Isabel, that next die back is a 2, so that's not telling me anything. Savo Island is a 5, that's giving me a +1 report. And the 6 on West Guadalcanal is giving me a +1. All right, next we have to check for the radar plot. So now we're on the phase 4 table. That's a 6, so system failure, which means we have no radar available until the next game day. So let's see. Our runway right now looks like Swiss cheese, and our radar plot just went to hell on us. This is not going to be a good day. Let's see. We've got an air. So the runway looks like Swiss cheese. The weather's flyable. Our system just went down, and we've got an air mission coming at us. This is going to go swimmingly. Let's see what they think we've got coming at us. All right. And it's a 2. Delightful. So apparently they think we've got 26 Bettys and 8 zeros, with 2 of them being double aces. Great. 26 Bettys and 8 zeros. Two double aces. Great. Just what I wanted to see. And then assign pilots and aircraft. Oh boy. You know, this is one of those days where I was desperately hoping for terrible weather or a land or sea mission, because I wanted them to kick rocks. Unfortunately, though, so the plan I had coming into this first day, was I was probably going to let the runway get repaired, especially if we had a tough weather roll. I was going to let the runway get repaired. But the problem here is sending a lot up is asking for a lot of body bags to come back. But sending up that many hits is also asking for trouble. But sending up a lot of planes is asking for a lot of body bags to come back. But not sending anybody up is asking for Henderson Field to look even more like a disaster. I think the answer here, though, is we're going to have to take a chance and take this one on the chin. We're going to have to take this one on the chin and hope the runway doesn't turn even worse. So we're not going to fly this. It's a risk, but I think we have to take it in this case. So we're not sending anybody up. I will get my, so we're rolling no interception. I am going to get the units out, mostly so I can count everything up. Let's see what oh, here we go. I was going to say I had a group. So we've got 26 Bettys. Oh, yikes. This is asking for disaster to happen, but I don't, because this is going to be a lot of dice that they're rolling. I mean, we could potentially get lucky. I hope. The problem is, and I'm sure Thomas is going to have plenty to say about this, the problem is it's very, actually, so I need zeros as well. Problem is, this is very much a no-win situation. We either fly it and send body bags and need body bags coming back, or we sit tight and potentially have Henderson Field turn into an even bigger disaster. But I think the play here, and it's probably a bad one, but we'll find out soon enough, won't we? I think the play here is just to let the guys rest a little bit. I'm mostly getting all the units out, not because we're going to have a big party up in the sky, but so I can keep my number of dice straight. I need another double ace there, don't I? Let's see, so 2, 4, 5, 10, 11. $12. I mean, you never know. We might get lucky on this. 13 for the Bettys, and I need one more double ace for the zeros. This is also not my normal setup of how I organize anything. So that's just part of the nature of the beast when you travel, is you don't get your ideal setup, so you've got to make do with what you've got. Put my pen down for a second. I know I've got more zero aces. At least I thought there were more zero aces in here. We'll just use a single zero and we'll remember that it's a double ace as well. I think that's the best thing to do to keep this video moving around. Keep this video moving along. So unfortunately, as I mentioned, we are taking a risk and running no interception. But we do have potential here because we might be able to get some help from our anti-air. We're going to roll 3d6. The only problem there is we need a 6 to hit anything. I know I've got my extra charts around here somewhere. Ah, here we are. So yeah, 3d6, but we need 6s to hit. Which, that is a 1, a 2, and a 4. That is called the aircraft can't do diddly squat today. So now we go to the bombing run by the Bettys. Which means we're rolling 13 dice. This is the potential to go very badly, very quickly. 3, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. All right. Fortunately for us, they only hit on 6s. So we have to pray to every god we know and several known to monkeys that we don't get any hits here. But knowing the way I roll dice, I'm not betting on that in the slightest. So let's find out. And in news that will shock exactly no one, we roll 1, 1, 1, 3, How many fours? Actually, yeah, we've got 2 3s in there. So we've got the ones accounted for, the 2 3s, 3 4s, 2 5s, and 3 6s, which will be good for 3 hits. That could have been a whole lot worse, but we've still got strafing to go through, and the... Actually, wait. I'm using the wrong value because those are dogfight values. Bombing is what we should be using there. They hit on a 4. Actually, they hit on a 4 when they're bombing, so they actually are inflicting a lot more hits than that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hits. Great. And we've still got strafing to go through. Okay, here's my hits table. All right, I'm going to pull this a little over closer to me. This was probably a very bad idea. So the way we're going to resolve these hits is I'm going to roll red, or I'm going to roll blue for the first result, for the initial hit resolution. Then we're going to throw in orange for the second part of the result if needed, and then teal for the third part of the result if we need it. And I'll explain based on each individual hit what they're for. So we're going blue, orange, teal. So we've got 8 hits, 8 bombing hits that we've got to roll for. Here's the part where we cheer for the blue dice to be a hell of a lot of 5s and 6s. Because I would like to not look like an idiot in having the pilots sit out. Three is an aircraft, and the 6 is going to be a I designated this already. 6 is going to be an Airacobra getting flattened. So that's going to be... Okay, where do we determine victory points? I think it's 1 per... Yes. Oh, no. Actually, it's for the Bettys, it's 4 victory points per hit scored. So they're picking up 32 victory points, along with another 1 for the Airacobra. 7 more hits to go. All right, that's a bivouac, hitting 1 pilot with a light wound. So 1 pilot hit or light wound, and is going to be out for 2 days. We'll put that off to the side for a second, and then I'm going to roll in my usual way. I need my squadron log over here as well. Might be a little bit hard to see, but in there, actually, let me pull this out because it'll be easier to see in the light. D12 for my squadron selection, D20 for pilot. Squadron 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I actually need only a D6 for squadron selection. For some reason I thought I had more active squadrons at this point of the playthrough. All right, that's Squadron 2, which is a group of Dauntless. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The D20 is going to need to get re-rolled. That's a 10, so looks like Forrest is on a light wound and out 2 days. Right, so that is Forrest. Well, this is going to end up being a very rough day. And we haven't had the zeros. We have not had the zeros even strafe yet. Another plane destroyed, and the orange this time is taking out a Dauntless, which is another victory point to the Japanese. Our next hit, fuel. So we're losing 6 barrels of fuel. Great. Fifth hit, or yeah, fifth. We've got 4 more to go. Another Airacobra destroyed. Sixth hit. Is taking out another barrel of fuel. Hit number 7. There's our first insignificant damage. We needed there to be a lot more of those, not on hit number 7. And our last hit is Bivouac, which is hitting, this time it's hitting 2 pilots. So we're hitting 2 pilots for light wounds. So let's figure out who we're hitting first. Let's see, that's Squadron 2, Pilot 10, and I put my... Here we are. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Nightwing is already out, so he's going to take another light wound. And he's out in another 2 days. And let's see, Squadron 6, 1, 2, actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and pilot number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That will be Sprague, who is out for another 2 days. So he gets hit again. All right. Now we get the possibility of the zeros strafing. All right, so now the zeros strafe, but we get to roll anti-air again first. Once again, we need 3d6, and we need 2s, and we need 6s to hit. That's a 1, 5, and a 6, so we at least deal 1 anti-air hit. So we take out one of the plane zeros. And now for them strafing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 dice because 4 elements and 2 double aces. Actually, do double aces get plus 1d6 or 2? Let me just double check that. I'm pretty sure it's only 1. Because if it's 2, we're going to basically be up a creek at that point. Strafing. Yeah, I'm going to presume, actually, that's for flight leaders, yada, yada, yada. Okay, double A, so they each get an extra 2d6. This could be bad. 8d6. And they hit, we only care about anything when the zeros are strafing. Oh, we care about 3s, and they score 1 hit per. Low rolls, please. Those are not low rolls at all. Actually, there should be 2 more in there. That's not that helpful. So 1, 1, 3, 4, 5, and 3 6s, which is good for another 6 strafing hits. So that's another 6 Japanese victory points. This was kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't. This was always going to be a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. Because going up was asking to send body bags back, but staying and taking it on the chin was asking for Henderson Field to turn even worse. But let's see what happens here. So our first hit is bivouac, so we're hitting another 2 pilots. Actually, no, we're hitting 1 pilot with a light wound. We'll be out 6 days. And we'll roll for pilot selection. Squadron 4. I'm almost certain that D20 is going to need to get re-rolled, though. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that D20 is going to need to get re-rolled. 16 we can probably deal with. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, right? Yes, so that is right who's out 6 days. Uh, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, I'm going to leave the black die in there as essentially a 4th result. Because occasionally there are dice like that bivouac roll that calls for a 4th result. But let's get into that. Let's get into this next hit. There's an insignificant damage. Come on, dice. Come on, blue die. We could use more of those 5s and 6s. There's another one. That's fuel, losing another 5 barrels of fuel. Let's see, are we due a fuel delivery today? A small one, it looks like, but not going to come anywhere close to covering what's been destroyed already. Let's see, 3 is another aircraft being destroyed. That's another Dauntless destroyed. And our last hit is another Airacobra being destroyed. Delightful. Then we skip through landings because we didn't fly, and end of mission assessment. We get sent up for something else. Or do we have another? Well, let's put it this way. Do we have another mission charged at us that we're almost certainly not going to fly? Because our runway is still Swiss cheese right now. For as lucky as we've gotten on dodging any runway trouble, that was the biggest problem to our not flying this mission today. And now I'm trying to get back to the... Oh, now it's a 1 to 3. Great. That's a 5, so no additional mission charged. All right, so we get lucky there. Disease and infections. As if Henderson Field wasn't enough of an adversary, we still have Mother Nature causing us problems. And we've got dysentery, dung fever, and malaria running around, which I will throw another die into that as well. So I'm going to throw an orange die into that so we know how many pilots are affected. Obviously, the hope is nobody's affected, so actually all of these can go back to the Japanese Pilot Cup once I bring that back over. So now we're looking at disease and infections roll. That's a 5, which was no infections, thank God. Next up, we're looking at Pistol Pete Artillery. Let's see how many hits get dealt out. I won't need that orange die just yet. All right, that's a 2. That seems problematic. That is 1 hit. Let's see what we've got. Actually, I'll throw the black die in there as well, just in case I need it. And the blue die, which of course got hidden in the camera, says insignificant damage, so that's very welcome. Washing Machine Charlie. First, we need the actual die roll. Hopefully that joker's asleep on the job. And he is. Next up, we've got Night Infiltration. Night Infiltration is no attempt. Now we've got Louis the Louse and Naval Bombardment, so hopefully the Imperial Japanese Navy stays quiet tonight. Because that's what started this disaster in the first place. And of course they don't. A 3 is good flares, so we've got 1d3 hits. So we have 1 hit coming at us. We'll roll our hit dice as usual and hope, once again, to every god known to man and several known to monkeys, that this doesn't do anything. And a fuel taking out 3 more barrels. And then we've got random events. The way I roll these, is I'm going to roll a blue and 2 orange. If the blue's a 1 to 2, then the 2 orange dice are going to give me what the event actually is. Otherwise, if the blue die is a 3 and up, I'll ignore the orange dice. Okay, that is a 3, so we have no random event. That's a day that could have ended up a whole lot worse. And I don't think anybody will be surprised to hear 32, 38, 39, 41, 2. That the Japanese very much won on the day. All right, and then now that the mission's over, let's go ahead and type up the after action report. As usual, when I type these up, I will put the stream into Be Right Back. So I can go ahead and type up the after action report. But I will be around to interact with chat as usual. Actually, I think there's one more thing I need to roll for. Oh, Sub-Zero is still missing. I need to roll for that. That's a 2. Okay. I'm actually going to go back and rewrite a little bit of the after action report then. Actually, no, I take that back. I can just tack this on. All right. Now that I've got that all written up, let's go through today's after action report. All right. September 4th, 1942. This one's going to be written from CO Ruff's perspective. I walked the runway at Henderson Field and saw there were still craters where the Imperial Japanese Navy hit us last night. The wind was kicking up a fair amount of mud and dust. Flyable weather if I liked the state of the runway better. Sparky came running up to me and tripped on one of the shell holes in the runway. After recovering from his fall, he handed me a telegram with a report of an air mission. Muttering to myself, I let out several loud curses. That should be curses, not cursed. As I saw the intel was good and what was coming at us. 26 Bettys and 8 zeros with 2 double aces. Everyone ran to the pagoda, but with my walk along the runway fresh, I knew we were in trouble either way. Send too many pilots up, and we'd be getting body bags back. Don't send anybody up, and the runway would probably get even worse. Ultimately, I decided the safety of my pilots had to come first, and we didn't fly. We were naked to the Japanese planes, and we knew we were about to pay a dreadful price. They knocked out plenty of fuel and hit a few planes and pilots between the Bettys bombing and the Zeros strafing. But at least the airstrip was left untouched. Somehow. Now the repair crews could start to get after the damage. I hope. Thankfully, Sparky didn't come up with any more reports of missions. I probably would have kicked his ass from here to Kingdom Come if he did come up with anything. Diseases weren't running any worse than they already were. Pistol Pete managed to rattle a few trees around, but we were otherwise unharmed. Washing Machine Charlie and Night Infiltration left us alone tonight, but the Imperial Japanese Navy managed to knock out more fuel, and nothing else happened. Upon further inspection of the damage, though, we saw those trees had something in the delivery of the artillery. It looked like a casket, and inside was Sub-Zero. It was obvious he'd been tortured. He gave his life so we could do more damage to the bombers yesterday. We'll have to make his sacrifice count. We took it on the chin today, but tomorrow is another day. And that will do it for this playthrough of MAG-23 Guadalcanal. Definitely a story unfolding here, as we're very much as we start week 3 off with a disaster. But I kind of knew we were going to be starting week 3 with a disaster on our hands when we came into this mission with a -3 runway that we were looking at. So the disaster was unavoidable. I'm just glad it wasn't any worse than it came out being, and the runway didn't get hit again. So that's where we'll be starting with the next mission in this playthrough, which might be later tonight. I haven't decided yet if I'm going live with something else later tonight. I've got a few other things I could get into. Maybe I'll sit down and roll up some characters for some other RPGs I've got coming up. Speaking of which, tomorrow morning we'll be live on the channel with a playthrough of Arkham Horror, the role-playing game. For this one, I've actually got something of an adventure hook written up that I generated off of ChatGPT. And we'll give that a try, probably with some of the characters from the beginner set. And then later tomorrow afternoon, we'll be trying a playthrough of Delta Green. Probably, well, I was thinking I was going to use Mythic for that, but as I was looking at the Solo Investigator's Handbook for Call of Cthulhu, I figure with a few tweaks, mostly in the skills that mostly in some of the skills that are called for in the checks, I might be able to just port the Solo Investigator's Handbook into Delta Green, but I'll have to see what I think about that. That will be tomorrow afternoon, though. Thank you for watching this video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care, everyone.